So here we have an intake and carburetor assembly for an M18. It ran fine as far as the carburetor went. I didn't notice it having any performance issues that were related to fuel delivery, but I think we should at least pop this bowl off and take a look, because it wouldn't take much to throw it in the cleaner. And let's just let me grab a wrench real quick and we'll take this apart. I think I have things figured out as far as where springs go and stuff, so should be a oop. All right, there we go. Let's pop this bowl off. Survey says yuck. Yeah, we're gonna throw that in the cleaner real quick. It's definitely got some crusties in there. I'll save the seal. It's kind of a neat float. It's got a little metal arm on there. Huh. That's cool. Not too bad inside, but we're not going to take any chances. We'll just needle's seen some wear. It's been in there a while. See the wear on the corners? We don't need to bother with cleaning that. So that's pretty much it. I'm not going to bother taking any of the jets out or anything. I will take out the enrichment screw here. None of this looks bad. This carb has been apart recently. Alright, well we'll probably just keep the air cleaner attachment connected to it, if we can. Just pop it off here, maybe. That's gonna be fun. Well, Kohler just loves putting these guys right up next to the body of the intake, don't they? Come on. Come on. Oh, it's just like right on the edge of... There it goes. Yeah, that's been off of there. And this is missing here. It's not really going to affect the sealing, but yeah, look at that. Let me make sure I've got a gasket for that. Let me check my kit real quick. I bought intake gaskets, so I know I've got the intake manifold gaskets right here. Make sure I've got the throttle body stuff. My cheapo gasket set. Let's see what we got here. We got some donut gaskets. We got, yes, we have a carburetor to intake gasket. As far as the throttle body gasket goes, I don't know if I have that or not. Let's see. It's none of those. Oh, maybe it's... That kind of looks like it, doesn't it? And let's pop this off. I'll move the intake out of the way. Pop this off. Here, let's just set it all here so I don't lose any of it. And we'll take a look at the gasket in between these two here, just to be safe. It looks like 3 holes. Maybe, nope. Maybe that? I don't know. We'll see. 2 screws to get to that, so no big deal. And this way we'll eliminate any intake leaks. Oh, that's pretty loose. Wow, that has definitely been off there recently. And we'll just throw this stuff in the cleaner, and maybe while we're waiting, we'll go ahead and put the crank seals in. That one's missing a washer. Heads of these screws are pretty chewed up. Somebody's been in there. It's not surprised. Oh, nice. Well, you know what? I'm glad we did that. Here's why. So that's not sealing the vacuum side to the intake. That's sealing to the carburetor or to the air cleaner. But still, look at that. Come on, dude. So, I think... What did they do? Install the gasket wrong? Yep. Yep, they installed the gasket wrong too. Look at that. Goofs. World's full of them. But we have the right gasket. I'll toss that. Let's put this in the tank. And I suppose we could put this in with it. Wouldn't hurt anything. That's pretty crazy. Look at the inside of that. That is like hand ground right there. That's crazy. Wonder if they did that from the factory like that? Custom ported. Yeah, custom. Alright, we'll pop this off here. That gasket's actually still somewhat decent. Make sure this fits. Yes, it does. Okay, so we got that gasket. We got that gasket. Let's head on over to the tank. Just put some fresh stuff in there. So I don't think I have any rubber or plastic parts to worry about here. I guess I could pop that other jet out too, huh? Yeah, let's go pop that other jet out. Or needle, sorry. Adjustment needle. We're going to reset all these anyway when we go to start it, so it's not that big of a deal. Woo! A long one, huh? Yeah, alright. Well, where'd the ball go? Oh, there it is. I should probably pop off this governor linkage here too, huh? Set this back. And so I don't lose it, I'll just connect it to the governor instead. Whoops. Okay, we got that on there now. Ready for the guy to come back. Let's take this and we'll pick out the parts we don't want to get chewed up. That solvent in there is not too caustic. I don't think it would hurt anything, but anything with rubber I'm taking out. Float looks fine. We'll set these to the side. And we got some intake manifold bolts. We might as well throw those in there too. Float pin doesn't need to be cleaned. Jets and nuts and bolts and screws and stuff. This is all fun. This is the main thing though. Let's get this in there. Okay, let's set this stuff down. And drop these in there. It's heating up. It's still pretty tepid. I just changed the water in it, so let's make sure these don't float out of there. Alright, yeah, they're sitting down the bottom now. And the big guy, carburetor. Alright, I guess I'll put this in there too. And then we'll let this set for about a half an hour. And then we'll come back to it. Okay, we are back from the ultrasonic tank. Carburetor is here and clean. I put a little lubrication on the throttle shaft here, or at the bushing, and down in the bore a little bit. Not a lot of excessive wear here. This is where most of them will wear, at least on the K series, they wear quite a bit between the shaft and the body. This one's pretty tight, so that's good. We're not going to have a big vacuum leak right there. The choke plate was a little sticky. There's a little spring inside here. It's a little sticky, so lube that up. It's nice and clean. Cleaned up the mating surface here and here. Blew everything out. Took some of the loose paint off. There's still some loose paint on there. And now I'm gonna polish up the seat here. So I'm gonna take a little bit of valve compound, some of the fine stuff, and I'm gonna attach it to a Q-tip on a drill. Just get a little bit in there, and we'll polish up that brass real nice. Now if you can see, let me get my flashlight. I went from a dull brass to a shiny brass. Well, it's real shiny in there now. So that should provide a nice seat for the needle. I'm gonna wash that compound out of there, some brake clean, and everything else is pretty much ready to go. So let's just clean this out. I'll get this compound out of here too, so we don't get it all over our stuff. I'm going to blow it out with compressed air one more time to make sure everything's clear. I've blown through all the passages, so you should be good to go. Alright. So let's put the carburetor back together. Okay, we got a big long jet that goes, or a big long mixture screw that goes into this jet here. The main jet. See, I got him nice and clean. Never hurts to take the extra step and take care of the carb. I mean, who knows what's in there. And it's let me get a smaller screwdriver. And we didn't really have to do this step, but so the adjustment for the wall bro, which is what this is you run it till it seats, and you back it off 1 1/4 turns. So 1 1/4. The low idle jet is the same. You're going to run it till it seats. There, and then 1 1/4 turns. So that's the preliminary setting. We'll go from there once we get it fired up, but that should get it to run. The Walbro and the Kohler have different settings for these, preliminary settings for these, and the Walbro acts a lot different. The low idle jet, I've noticed it is very, very touchy. Like, you move it just a hair one way or the other, and it changes things drastically. So there's like a 1/4 turn range of adjustment. Okay, jets are back in, or the mixture screws are back in. Let's go ahead and populate the bottom here. Well, we got, there's our needle. Set him in there. And our float. And our pin. And then we'll double check the float operation here. Turn it upside down, blowing it. Turn it right side up and blowing it. Ooh, that was a little sticky for a second. Upside down. Right side up. A little sticky, huh? I wonder if it's... Oh yeah. Yeah, that float's a little sticky. We gotta figure out why the float's a little sticky. When I turned it upside down and got stuck and it didn't want to do anything, and this will definitely cause us some issues. So if you can see, there's where the needle is. And when the float dropped, the needle didn't drop with it. So yeah, I know, it's hard to see. I'm gonna pull this back out then and see if we can play with that needle and see what's going on with it. Why are you sticky? Maybe just put a little... We'll clean it one more time to be safe, in case there's some extra cruft in there. And blow it out one more time. It looks fine. Doesn't look like it's should be sticky for any reason, but who knows. And then I'll put a little bit of, let's put a little WD on it, just to help it out a little bit. And we'll see if she sticks now. It's doing fine now. Should be all right. Okay, that's back in there. I've got the bowl gasket. I took it off and just cleaned it. So, just wiped it with a rag and a little bit of WD-40 to clean it up. I didn't want to hit it with anything too caustic, so see if I can get it on there without tearing it. Okay. Okay, so we got the bowl seal on there. We got the bowl. It's nice and clean now. It doesn't have the crufties down the bottom of it. So set it on there. And this nut never, or the bolt never moved from the bowl, so I guess it's just gonna tighten down like it did before. Okay, should be good. All right, we should have an operable carburetor. So let's hook the carb back up to the intake. Here is the intake gasket. Cleaned up the surface here. Oh wow, that's special. All right, so basically just have a gasket and it bolts right on. It's not anything terribly difficult. I've got the nuts here. Cleaned these up too. I basically did a tidy up of all the hardware and everything. Okay, got a 1/2-inch wrench here. This side's easy to torque down. Good. This side's not so easy. Whoops. I'm just going to set it down and work with it on the bench. I'm trying to stand up and hold it at the same time. Okay, so that side's tight. I gotta somehow get in here and tighten this one up. Oh, there we go. There we go. I got it. Okay. Looks good to me. Make sure nothing's bound up. We're all good there. Okay, we're ready to put the intake back on, I think. Well, let's put the adapter on while we're at it. So I got the bolts for the air cleaner adapter. This is why I taped off the intake ports. I don't want to drop something in there like I almost just did. The bolts are cleaned up. I got new washers on them. Only one of them had a washer before. I cleaned up this area here where they had put the gasket in wrong. So, we should be ready to go. We got this dude here. It goes on like that. We got two shorter bolts. I think it's like the shorter ones go down on the bottom. Just get these started and we'll get the top one in. Alright, and here's the long one. It goes on the top right here. Maybe. I didn't have any machine screw washers that were the right diameter, so I just used some copper crush washers, so it probably won't hurt anything. It's better than not putting a washer on it at all, and it'll probably seal pretty well too. And these were not particularly tight either. Okay. Now we have a fully populated intake again with presumably functional carb. So let's pop these guys off. And get out our new gaskets here. This engine just looks like a mess from the top, doesn't it? It's kind of hard to distinguish what's what at this point, at least from the camera. So here's the intake gasket. Oh, that doesn't look right. Okay, that looks right. I guess they go like that. Yeah. The original intake gaskets were they were a sandwiched steel, like a perforated gasket, like a head gasket almost. These are not, they're just a standard fiber one. I don't think it matters, but they definitely aren't as sweet as the originals. Okay, so this is going on an 1882 Cub Cadet, so I've got it set up for this tractor. I think the lifting eyes are probably in the same place on all of them, so I have a lifting eye attached to this bolt here, and I've got a lifting eye attached to this bolt here. And then I've got a throttle cable hookup on this side, and then just a regular bolt over here. So, we shall see. Let's move this out of the way. So, all right. Those are started. Get these started. Yeah, so I'm going to lubricate these a little bit. They seem like they could use just a hair. Looks like our gasket is in place, so we're good there. Just double check, make sure I didn't miss the gasket somehow. I think on the intake, I don't have to double check this, but I'm pretty sure the intake manifold gets torqued to like 150 inch-pounds. Okay, I'm gonna double check the torque spec and then we'll be right back. Doesn't really matter too much for this, but I am gonna check it. So I've checked torque on the intake manifold bolts, and it's 150 inch-pounds. That's what I thought it was, but I just want to double check. So we'll torque these down, and then we'll hook up a little bit of the linkage and we're pretty much ready to go. So, yeah, that's 8, 16. All right. Just gonna get them all started first. About the relative positions they would be in. That one, I think, I'm probably going to want to be a little bit more like that. This is where that throttle is going to go. And the throttle is going to go like, the cable will go like that. So, yeah, I don't want to go too far in. Yeah, I can go a little bit further away, I think. Like that. That's going to be full throttle right there, I believe. So that's where it'll sit most of the time. Let's make it happy. There. That should be pretty happy for full throttle. Idle's going to be a little weird. But that should be pretty good. We'll call that good right there. I get this one pretty much opposite of the other one. Just looking between here and here to see if they're kind of lined up with each other for lifting. It should be going by now, shouldn't it? Come on. Shouldn't need that much. Yeah, my torque wrench set right. 20, 60. Might have been. No, I had it set right. The gasket just squishes a lot, I guess. There we go. Go back, double check. All right, I think we're good. So that's the intake manifold. It's all in. Boy, it's a funky looking thing when it's assembled, isn't it? I'm not really concerned with the aesthetics of this one, but if I was doing a full rebuild from the inside of the case all the way out, I'd probably paint this or get all of the loose factory paint off of it because it just looks terrible. It's such a weird thing. It's got so many different like holes and weird geometry to it that it really, like, the engine to me looks really cool. It has a kind of an elegant design. It's like the symmetry of it is cool. And then you put the intake on and it just looks like a freaking octopus and a mess of stuff. Anyway, it won't matter. It's just a runner, so not a showpiece. Okay, we will be back. That will take care of the intake and the carb. We'll start hooking up linkages and mess with the governor. And then bolt on the air cleaner and it'll be good from the top end down. So, all right, we'll be back.